13 News at 5 begins tonight with breaking news. 2 children are dead and another 6 children and 1 adult are fighting for their lives. All of this after a mass shooting at their school.
It is just horrific news. We've been following this devastating story all day out of Minneapolis. Ever since the news broke this morning, kids going to a mass ending up being victims. Dustin Grove joins us now with a look at what we know at this hour. We've been getting all these details in, and every more detail just is more heartbreaking.
There's so many late breaking details to this, and every one of them, like you said, is just, it really does break your heart. At last check, police reported 19 victims of this shooting. 17 were hurt, and of those 17, 14 are kids. Now, we want to give you a better look here at where this happened. You can see Annunciation Catholic School on the map right next to Annunciation Church with kind of a courtyard park area between them. It's located in South Minneapolis. The children were celebrating Mass in the sanctuary at the church at the time. The gunman fired shots through the stained glass windows, those narrow windows, which you see highlighted there in red on the side of the church. This was the first week of school for these students. They started classes on Monday. The police chief says a wooden plank was used to barricade some of the side doors. And they also found a smoke bomb. The children, who range in age from kindergarten to 8th grade, were literally praying at the time these shots were fired. Now, earlier this afternoon, we heard from a 5th grader named Weston. He told us his friend was shot while lying on top of him for protection.
My friend saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
Your friend laid on top of you?
Yeah, and he got hit.
What do you want to say to your friend who helped protect you?
He's really brave, and I hope he's good in the hospital.
And what do you want to say to everyone that had to go to the hospital?
I hope you're okay, and I'm praying for you.
Oh, Weston went on to say they practice for active shooters all the time at school, but they never had a drill in the church. He says they rushed to the gym, locked the doors to make sure the shooter couldn't get in there. They then got a chance to reunite with their families finally. The Minneapolis mayor got very emotional today talking about the shooting. He called it an unspeakable act of evil.
These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
The children who died were just 8 and 10 years old. Police say they believe the shooter died by suicide. Sources tell our Minneapolis sister station the shooter was a 23-year-old woman named Robin, who was formerly Robert Westman. Police say that person grew up in the area. Mother worked at the school until her retirement 4 years ago. Our sister station also reports it's believed she attended the school for at least a year and had visited the school in the last week. Police are also actively investigating a video posted from an account believed to be associated with Westman online. The video appears to show a manifesto-style document in Russian. Now, there is still a lot we don't know, obviously, about this shooting. A lot of information online, like that video, that still needs to be verified. So we're working through that. Our sister station in Minneapolis is working to verify what's fact, what's true, versus what may not be. Police are actively also serving search warrants right now in the area as they search for a motive and why this happened.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, because if you search this right now and you search that suspect's name, there's so much that's showing up online, you know, a handwritten letter, kind of like a last manifesto, pictures, videos, and this hasn't been verified yet. We're working to see that. You look at that and it's the whole thing is horrific, atrocious.
You just
evil
want answers.
But then also to know that there are bad actors out there who are putting out fake stuff.
Right.
It makes it even worse.
Right. Because there are 2 families that have lost an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. 2 children that are lost, 9 that were in critical condition after this incident earlier today. So just such heartbreak for that community. And as more information comes in, we want to make sure what we're giving you is accurate, verified, and confirmed.
The unthinkable. Dustin, thank you.
What makes matters worse is that leading up to this incident, they had had a very violent 24 hours in the Minneapolis area. There was another mass shooting in that community, and that occurred just yesterday.
Our sister station is reporting that shooting happened across from a Jesuit school where high school students were taking class. They were in class when one person died in that mass shooting, 6 other people hurt.
Right now, police are still searching for the gunman responsible for this incident.
Now, of course, we have been following this breaking news, as Dustin said, since it first broke this morning. We have a sister station in Minneapolis, and we are following things here as well.
And of course, we have our affiliations with CNN and NBC, all trying to vet the information as it's coming in. And as that happens, we'll be bringing you updates here on our newscast through 6:30 and also on all WTHR platforms 24/7. We are also following some breaking news right here at home tonight, this Wednesday night at 5:05. Right now, Metro Police tell us they are investigating the theft of an Indiana State Police SUV.
Officers were able to track the driver accused of stealing the SUV. There was a short chase before people took the driver into custody near South Elder Avenue and West Maryland Street on the near west side of Indianapolis.
And in the courtroom today, we learned that an Indianapolis man who killed 2 19-year-old women will be spending 116 years behind bars for their deaths.
This morning, a judge sentenced Malik Shaw for the murders of 2 cousins, Aaliyah Wortman and London Coleman. Jenna Webster joins us now after an emotional day in the courtroom.
Yeah, it definitely was. Shaw was sentenced to 58 years for both counts of murder. Those sentences will be served back to back, giving you those 116 years. Family for both women were inside the courtroom today, gave very emotional impact statements. One of the girls' moms bringing the entire courtroom to tears.
Ain't no do-overs. I can't go get my baby out the ground.
Mom Avon Artist says her life will never be the same.
He should never be free again.
In April last year, her daughter London Coleman and niece Aaliyah Wortman, along with Spencer Lawson, were found shot and killed near a car at the Jamestown apartment community. A jury found Malik Shaw guilty of killing the 2 young women.
When she was supposed to come home, we were going to sit down so we could order her graduation stuff. It never happened. It never happened. And now when I think about her, I get in my car and I have to go to the cemetery to be close to her. And it's just not fair.
Emotions at the sentencing hearing were high. The girl's family is brought to tears in the courtroom and frustrated on the stand.
Life goes on for him. He's breathing. He gets to eat 3 times a day. He gets to chirp around or play on an iPad because he had good behavior. We have to go home and talk to a rock in a cemetery.
Act like a coward and gun down my 2 unarmed teenage nieces in broad daylight, like their lives meant nothing. I'm here to say they did mean something to their family and friends.
And you can sit there, stone face. Look at my face. Look at my face. My daughter's on a shirt. My niece is on a shirt.
The family is asking for Shaw to receive the maximum sentence. Shaw himself did not make a statement.
He's sincerely remorseful for the loss in this case, but he does maintain his innocence.
After the judge handed down that 116-year sentence, those emotions continued outside the courtroom.
And he got what he deserved. He really doesn't deserve to breathe, but we're happy with what we got.
The family calling it justice, but doesn't change what happened and doesn't bring their girls back. Now, during his trial last month, Shaw was also tried for a 3rd murder charge, but the jury deadlocked on what prosecutors called a set-up execution of 27-year-old Spencer Lawson. Shaw is expected back in court for that count next month. He also asked the judge to appoint a defense attorney to appeal today's sentence.
All right, tough sound to hear from the family there, Jenna. Thank you for reporting tonight. Also, a Kokomo man now knows he will spend decades in prison after torturing 3 people in 2 separate cases.
A judge in Howard County sentenced Troy Wilson to 42 years, 12 years suspended. He pled guilty to criminal confinement and aggravated battery after he and others confined, beat, stripped, burned, and held 2 victims at gunpoint. This occurred in 2019.
The second crime came in 2020 when Kokomo police found a man tied up in a bathtub who said he'd been held for 11 days while Wilson tased, burned, and beat him.
Officers also found a woman, Lachey Young Beard, shot to death in the home's backyard. Another man is charged with her murder. That trial is set to begin in October.
Tonight, we now know the date of the state's next execution.
Roy Ward will be executed Friday, October 10th before sunrise. Ward murdered and raped a 15-year-old girl. It was Stacy Payne, and that happened in Dale back in July of 2001.
He was sentenced to death twice, once in his initial trial and again when his case was retried due to problems with the first trial.
Developing tonight in less than half an hour now, yet another part of the 2026 budget will be unveiled to the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee.
The Office of Public Health and Safety will introduce their budget. This is one of the largest city budgets at $1.7 billion, and it follows Mayor Joe Hogstett's request for most city and county agencies to cut their budgets by 4%.
Our Logan Gay is live before the meeting and joins us now for our newscast. Good evening, Logan. So what is our Office of Public Health and Safety looking at when they're looking through these numbers?
Good evening, Ann Felicia. Well, we know that OPHS says that they're not looking at any cuts. In fact, they say that there should be minimum to no impact to any group receiving the elevation grants that promote safety within our city. Now, that meeting will be here at the City County building. And what we know, the elevation grants, this is because they're not doing cuts because the elevation grants don't operate on a calendar year. So that means the cash carries over. And OPHS says that it has $3 million from the 2025 city budget plus $2 million from the spring fiscal budget this year. Add on $2 million in the proposed budget for 2026, and OPHS is looking at a total of $7 million for organizations to crack into for crime prevention. That money has gone to organizations including the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis, which we spoke with early this morning. Now tonight, this meeting, again, that's here at the City County building, will start at 5:30. We will be in the room taking an in-close look at the budget for OPHS, and we'll have all the information about how it will impact our community tonight on 13 News at 11. Felicia, Ann.
All right, Logan, we'll check back. Thank you so much. In the meantime, making cuts in Muncie.
Why the city says it's not going to have enough money for some departments. That's ahead at 5:30.
Clouds, sun, and 70s today, but I am timing a rain chance in your Thursday forecast.
Plus, setting expectations.
What the Colts GM is now saying tonight about the state of the team ahead of the season. But first,
the Butler football program has a new head coach for the 2025 season. How Kevin Lynch's familiarity with this program will help the Bulldogs not just this year, but for years to come as well.